Week 5 is here, gentlemen, and it is time for some matchup previews. No notes today, just shooting from the hip. We're going to see how this thing goes today. Before we do, need to quickly address Reese and John with what looks to me like Reese reminding everybody what an unrepentant douchebag he is, and John reminding everybody he doesn't really give a shit. Trading Reese a usable running back for a guy that you got a couple days later into free agency, a guy that has, count him, 3 games in his entire career over 50 yards. Unfortunately, moving forward, if you two are going to come together on deals, we're going to have to strongly look at it and see if it's collusion or not. That trade made absolutely no sense for John in any way, shape, or form. Of course, John immediately gets an injury, so now is dealing with just 2 running backs. He only had 3, and now only has 2. At least John has 3 tight ends on his roster, I guess. Wouldn't count on your buddy Reese to bail you out like you did to him because, like I said, Reese, not that kind of guy. He's not going to help you out, even though you just basically gifted him a running back last week. Really shady, and every year we seem to have something super shady happen with Reese. After that being said, that's just the kind of player Reese is. So that being said, moving forward, any deals between John and Reese are going to be heavily scrutinized. That's just the way it's got to be. Just absolutely zero even common sense in that deal. Made no sense at all. So now on to the matchup previews. We have Aaron the GOAT versus Young Ho Taylor Swift. And that's right, the Young Ho has returned. So, the Young Ho is 1-0 as the Young Ho. So I'm really, Senior seems to be the get right spot for everybody's matchup. I had a down week last week. Poor Senior is giving up like 130 something points a week or something like that. Just to no defense at all. He's the Dallas Cowboys of this league, just trying to score points and play catch up by the second half. So, and I really don't see anything that's going to be different this week. I've got some easy matchups, and the way things are going for Senior, Allen Robinson's probably going to go out there and put up 28 points tonight. Bold prediction in this matchup is that I think James Robinson's going to have a monster day. I think James Robinson goes out there and crushes the Texans to the tune of over 100 total yards and 2 scores en route to, of course, I'm going to get the W. You can't beat a Young Ho. It's against the law. So Young Ho gets this W. Now, we got Joe, who's currently somehow in first place. I guess that's what happens when you get traded an RB1 for an injured player. Joe, basically Mike Davis the last 2 weeks, has scored 32 fantasy points, which it's not out of the realm of possibility that he's basically approximated Christian McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey would have performed a little bit better, don't get me wrong, but 16 points a game, not bad. Melvin Gordon has been everything Joe could have possibly wanted. Threw up a mega game last week. Kyler Murray, super soft matchup against the Jets. Kyler Murray, I was talking to Joe. He's another example like Dak Prescott, great for fantasy, terrible real life quarterback. He looks awful out there, but he's running a lot. So there you go. Joe has the previously aforementioned Hollywood Brown, who is absolutely useless. If Hollywood doesn't hit on a big touchdown reception, he's useless. So he's kind of like Deshaun Jackson, but with a shittier deep ball quarterback. Now, George Kittle came back last week and absolutely exploded. Guess that knee's fine. On the junior side of things, Matt Ryan, I don't know that I'd trust him. I'd probably start Roethlisberger at home against Philly, especially if Julio Jones is out. Carolina's been playing a lot better since McCaffrey went down. So, they're no walkthrough. Now, Cooper Kupp at Washington, pretty good matchup. I think Cooper Kupp has a day. DJ Chark could have a day against the Texans. Kareem Hunt being the lead dog, probably the best thing that could have happened to Junior. You got your Evan Ingram at Dallas. Look, if Evan Ingram can't do it at Dallas, time to just abandon ship forever. Bold prediction here in this one. I'm going to say that let's go with Evan Ingram does get it done this week. I'm going to say 80 yards and a score from Evan Ingram, which is super bold because he has been that bad. So, plus the Giants are averaging 11 points a game. So him getting into the end zone is a bold prediction. So winner is going to be Tony Jr. that week behind Evan Ingram's big week. Now, we've got the grudge match of the century here. We have Unleash the Tua versus Cheat Code. So we have Jared versus Steve. And I got to tell you, I always really enjoy reviewing this one. So you know what? We're going to leave it to the end. Suck it, Steve. We got Jason Exotic versus your deepest fantasy. So Justin versus Jason. You got Lamar Jackson versus Old Man Brady. I cannot believe Justin is rolling out Brady at Chicago. Looks like he might not have Mike Evans. He's definitely not going to have Chris Godwin. OJ Howard's out. Just a terrible, awful matchup. Lamar Jackson has not practiced in 2 days, though. That's something to keep an eye on. I think Odell turns back into a pumpkin this week. He's useless. I think you have the wrong Vikings receiver in your lineup. Personally, like Justin Jefferson better than Adam Thielen. Chris Carson, another guy that's banged up. Joe Mixon, another guy that's going to turn back into a pumpkin this week at Baltimore. If Evans does suit up, I don't expect much at Chicago. Basically, I feel like Justin's team exploded last week, and it's going to go right back to being a bag of crap this week. So thank you for getting that in against my team, you jackass. Now, on to Jason's side of things, I really like T. Higgins. I know it's a tough matchup at Baltimore, but T. Higgins has been tearing it up. Looks like Jason might not have Derrick Henry. If Jason doesn't have Derrick Henry, that's going to be a problem. But at least he has Dalvin Cook, who is going to absolutely roast the Sea Chickens this week. That defense is going to have no answer for him. Love the Denver D play at New England with Stidham at quarterback. So that being said, bold prediction, Denver D is the highest scoring defense on the week. I think they get 2 pick sixes against Jared Stidham en route to Justin going right back onto the losers heap. So there you go. Now, Old Dick Horns versus Black Tuna. So, oh my God, John and Reese are actually playing each other this week. So again, even though you absolutely bailed Reese out last week, I wouldn't count on him to help you. So even if you weren't playing each other, he wouldn't help you. So there you go. Really don't want to cover this matchup too much. John doesn't really give a shit, and Reese is taking advantage of that. So there's not much to say. I'm not going to review this matchup. Whatever happens, happens. So Jared versus Steve in the grudge match. Let's get to it, man. We got my homeboy and Hill at home against the Raiders. That is wild. That is nuts. I feel like Mahomes and Hill are going to have huge weeks. And if Drake, man, if he can't get it done against the Jets, it's time to just cut him. That's it. So if ever there's going to be a week for Drake, this is going to be the week. You got David Montgomery on Steve's side. Terrible matchup and a terrible running back against the Bucks. Steve's been trying to deal away Montgomery for weeks now. He's had no success. Nobody wants any part of this running game for the Bears. And I don't blame you. As a Bears fan, I understand, guys. It's not anything you're going to want a part of. So don't let Steve try to sell you that Montgomery's some sort of great running back. He's not. If you take away that 40-yard busted touchdown reception against the Giants, he would basically be lesser Mark Ingram to this point. Speaking of which, Steve, you can't play Mark Ingram. You know that. Come on. Mark Ingram's not a playable asset. Honestly, I'd rather have Hayden Hurst in my flex or Justin Jackson, Malcolm Brown. I mean, somebody else. Steve's only carrying 2 wide receivers, and one of them's Nuke Hopkins, who's banged up. So, well played there. Honestly, it's tough to do a bold prediction on this one because I think both of these teams are looking not very great this week. But my bold prediction is going to be Damian Harris is the highest scoring running back in this matchup. I like Damian Harris. He looked explosive to me. Great pickup by Jared. And, of course, I'm going to predict Jared gets the W. Come on, Steve. You didn't really think I was going to predict you to win, did you? So there it is. There's your matchup previews. I'll see you guys next week when hopefully the young ho overcomes Aaron the GOAT.